The 8th and final BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup weekend is in Königssee, Bavaria, and in this winter wonderland, we are ready for the final heat of the season for the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Welcome to Königssee. Alongside me is John Morgan. And John, ready for an all-action final run?
Well, third place, Kaillie Humphries, Lisa George. Well, this third place is very significant because Kaillie Humphries finishes in third or fourth place. She will win the World Cup title, the Golden Globe. And right now, she's got both hands on it. Can't see her falling more than a couple places here at the most. And the person chasing her down, Alana Myers-Taylor, Lauren Gibbs from the United States. Myers-Taylor won the World Championships last year on this track and didn't have the superior start time she usually gets, but still drove well. Alana Myers, who won last week at St. Moritz, is starting to look like she's taking shape for the Olympic Games. And this young German pilot, Stephanie Schneider, Annika, Drazek, only 200s from the start record, had some problems driving down the track. This former brakeman, former world champion brakeman. She's made the jump to the front seat. She's won twice this year, and she is positioning herself to be a medal threat at the upcoming Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games.
2 gold medals, 2 bronze medals for Stephanie Schneider in the 7 races so far. Her best results in what is her breakout World Cup season. Last year's World Cup debut year was interrupted by crashes, injuries and re-injuries, but she leads here in the final World Cup race of the year. 30 points between Kaillie Humphries in 3rd place in this race and Alana Myers-Taylor, who chases her in the World Cup standings. Kaillie must be in the top 3 if Alana wins. Top 5 if Alana is on the podium. Should just about do it, but it's going to be close. There's Germany's Mariama Yamanka, also perhaps in with a shot at the medal. She lies in 5th position, but it's going to be a bit of a tough ask for her. And there is Annika Drazek, who is pushing Stephanie Schneider in this race. Who knows, they might be the Olympic combination. Asia Evans getting the hello from Annika. And there is Anastasia Kochetsova, the big new Russian brakewoman who has helped Nadia Sergeva get herself into 7th position here.
Martin, my calculations say that Alana has to win and Kaillie has to finish 4th for Alana to take the title.
Yep.
If Alana and Kaillie stay within 2 positions of each other, Kaillie will win the World Cup title.
It'll be 4th and goal for the final run of the season. Angie Greco of Romania will be first off as we go 20 down to 1, last to fast. Change of brakewoman Montel Douglas off the back of Misha McNeil's sled after they hit the wall hard, almost crashed, did crash, came back up in the first heat in the same corner. And we think Misha Moore will be on the back of that sled, who's her regular #1 brakewoman. And last to go, Stephanie Schneider and Annika Drazek. Big crowd here this Saturday evening. It's just after 5 p.m. Central European time, and a very knowledgeable crowd as well here in Berchtesgaden. First sled on the ice, Angie Greco, Beatrice Puiu, her brakewoman, one of 2 Romanian sleds in the field. Greco, her 2nd year as a World Cup driver. She also spent half a season last year pushing for Maria Constantin, her compatriot.
17th best start, which is, you know, she's a young pilot. She's only like 21, tall, and, you know, the start's where they got to improve, but this is a good Romanian hope here. If she gets a start time in the next 4 years. Oh! That's almost a crash. Justin Olsen did that in the men's bobsled race, and now we've seen, I think, 2 women's sleds do it. Just a disaster to hit curve 1 too early. 4 S's in the track. Now a long straightaway, a bend away. It's not a straightaway. You got to hit 3 times like that. That's pretty good, pretty much the norm. Speed, keep track of the speed. Variance, now the exit of this curve into these labyrinths is real tricky. Watch this. And it's a big pressure curve, 74 miles an hour down here. It's about the norm. Into this finish curve, uphill section out of Ecovon, that uphill section for 200 meters. You got to be careful. You can lose the race in that last 100 meters uphill.
Well, looked like a much better run below the Kreisel, but that first corner for Angie Greco, yeah, wow. She turned in long before the corner was there, really bumped up it.
Just like putting the brakes on.
She had much better speed at the bottom of the track, though. So a good exit from the Kreisel, but...
Okay, everything, you know, there's Paul Niagu, the coach back there looking, and I don't know if he got a chance to see this because it took him a little bit to get to the TV monitor, but watch this, she comes in too early. Bang, that's a straight wall. And that's not the way to accelerate at the top of the track, needless to say.
Angie Greco of Romania is down. Next up, Misha McNeil of Great Britain with Mika Moore. Yes, it's me. Oh, I'm not sure it is.
It is, Mika Moore.
Okay, well, we were told that it was a change of brake woman.
Well, if it's not, it's a disqualification protocol.
Well, Mika normally has braids like her driver, but there was an awful lot of hair there. Let's have a look. Well, and she has got braids, so I think it is Mika Moore. We were told it was, and it's unlikely that Lee Johnson would have changed the brake woman and then changed her back.
Well, she's a lot smaller than the other.
Yeah, than Montel.
Montel, so she's in and down, and well, we're going to keep our eyes on this Misha McNeil because she had some, how do I say, make your hair stand on end issues down in the exit of Kreisel, and she got away with it. I mean, she hurt her brakeman, but these are good lines. She's from this, you know, the Fund Me program that she had to go through to get on tour. She's had a pretty good year, except for a couple crashes.
1:11.7, better speed than Angie Greco. She's in the green, and this was the danger zone last time.
She's through.
Clean as a whistle, and that's a huge leap now ahead of the Romanian. This is where she should have been, 1:18.6, a kilometre an hour quicker. She can move up 3 or 4 spots with this run, 1:09.9. And 2 of those would have been an awful lot better for her to end the season, 51.20. So she takes the lead from Beatrice Pugh and Angie Greco.
5th in Whistler. She had a 7th last week in St. Moritz. She cracked.
51.20. She'd have been 9th in the first heat, by the way, not 19th, which is where she was.
The World Cup season's over for those two. They've had a great season. Couple crashes early on. But hasn't diminished. If you could have seen these pictures in the first run, they're over, upside down there, and the sled comes back up. Look at the coach. You think he's relieved?
Sigh of relief from Lee Johnson and Peter Ramseidel.
Had a good season, though.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, your mum just aged a decade, but she will go to her first Winter Games. Next up, Maria Oshigiri of Japan and Mariko Morimoto, the only one of the 2 Japanese sleds to make the field. The other one was actually the Japanese sled, not just a sled driven by the Japanese girls. And this is the woman who finished in 7th place in astonishing World Championships last year here in Königssee for Maria Oshigiri.
Yeah, she had great starts last year. Brakeman's hurt, and it's unbelievable. This girl finished 7th in the World Championships last year and did not qualify for the Olympic selection this year. Only 20 women's sleds go through. The qualification process, strict, and it did not favor the Japanese, that's for sure, because they had a rough year on the World Cup circuit.
Very restrictive with guaranteed spots. Whoa, Oshigiri is going to slip down the order again. Now, been coached by Hans Wimmer this year with the Wimmer sled. Now, can she get out of the Kreisel? She's in trouble. She's hitting everything. Was 800s away, but that will drop. 1:17.1. Not bad speed, but not enough to keep her in contention. This will drop her a spot into 2nd at the line.
The British get a reward hanging out. There's Hans Wimmer, coach, and very disappointed coach. He's from Bavaria. First time the Japanese have ever had a foreign coach in the 70 years that they've had a bobsled team. 80 years. And look how happy they are. They are not qualified for the Olympics. They're still here.
Living the dream. They love every day of this.
Well, this is 2 hits, and now the skid. 3, 4, and when you get the back end hitting, that is a parachute. Slowing you down, and then watch these pictures. Well, you see the 4-man sleds get through that little narrow section. They don't expand it for the 4-man tomorrow. It's the same size.
Next up is Anne van Nieuwenhuizen. She was the first sled on the ice in the first heat with Nell Paulsen behind her. And these two started their Olympic adventure together. When Anne first drove, Nell was her first brakewoman. And both Belgian sleds have qualified to go to the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang next month.
Not a very good start, 5.49 in the first run, and they match it. But, you know, she's going to go behind double digits probably. A little drift there, yeah, double digits. And now as she gets out of the 4S's, she hopes to stop the bleeding, and she could overcome that with good lines down here in the bottom. 17. So there's the bleeding, should be stopped. 2, 3, 4 hits now. 111 high, 111 high.
Only
so she's got a chance.
700s in hand from the first heat. The gap now is negative 1700s.
1600s, I don't
Closing
know.
a little.
She's going to have some real magical speed. 119 or something here. 118.4 doesn't have it. She's going to fall behind the British also.
Yeah, not as quick as the British sled.
110.5. She's coming back a little bit, but I don't think there's enough track left. No, 51.40, 3,300's better. It's cooler. You know, it's a little nighttime here in Bavaria, and that was a pretty good, better run, but the British were way better because the British almost crashed in the first run.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't crash, and the sled came back up.
Yeah, crashed, hit the wall, and it bounced them back onto their runners.
Well, let's watch the Belgian bullet line through the chicane, or the doodles, as the Canadians call it. Nice, smooth, and looks at her lines. Her Olympic season's over. Her next trips will be in Korea.
Yep. Next up, Annika and Lisette Turner. Annika, disappointingly skinny run for the third of the German sleds. Lisette on the back handles.
10th best start, 2 in the first run. If you have the 10th best start, you're on your home track. You shouldn't be back at 15th.
Yeah. All the German women, like the men now, pushing the two-man FES sled.
In, down. Look how low they are. Look at that little angle there on the top of that cowling. 5.33, so they're 100th better. 54.9, that's the velocity after the first curve. If you're keeping track of the box score, keep track of that. And this is where she had her problems in the first run.
Oh, and it's just as bad. Got the exit off S4 wrong. She hits everything in sight.
She's looking to move up. 112 speed is the best speed of the heat. But
she had a big advantage over the British sled of some 0.4 of a second.
Still 0.4.
Yeah.
So she's going to be the leader. Now the question is this good enough to move up? 119 speed.
Best we've seen so far. 73.6 miles an hour.
111 speed on the bottom, that transfers well. 51.08, she goes 3,100s better. The British day is done. Rennie Spies looks on and says, I think my young rookie pilot had a better heat. And her next competitive runs will be in Korea.
51.08, 7th place. That would have put her in the first heat. She was in 16th. So that's a big improvement on a 51.39.
Look at the start and watch the technique of the brakeman. Watch the in get down quickly. Watch the arms come up in a cohesive manner. Now watch the brakeman bury herself in the back. And now how to steer out of the 4S's. Well, this is her home track. Well, she's a rookie driver, but you could see her leaning away. You see her leaning away to try and stay away from the wall?
Yeah, bobsled drivers use the lean quite a lot here instead of steering. That's Anna on the right, Lisette on the left of your picture. And next up, Christina Bruton and Cynthia Appia. 15th after the first heat. Annika of Germany leading in the second. Third Canadian sled in the field. Christina Bruton earned herself a spot at the Olympic Games for herself and for Canada with a great run in St. Moritz just a week ago.
27, they're good starters, you know, they're 8th best start in the first run, 55.2, so they're way better velocity than the Germans who just came down. And Christina's husband, Ivo, had an unbelievable personal best finish in years this morning, top 12 in the World Cup two-man event.
Well, she was only 3 200s, in fact, in front of the German sled. She was 100th behind the next sled in front, and 300s would move her up 3 spots.
So rough there, but sometimes rough is fast. And
gaps down to 700s, 119.4, good speed, fastest we've seen
she's losing
there.
Back though.
Well, she was quicker than Kohler. Not quite as quick. And 100 behind.
That last speed, 110. The Kohler was 111.1.
Yeah.
And De Bruyn 110.4. So she made a mistake on the exit of Echelon in that uphill section of the track. The track is short, tricky, and demanding from top to bottom. She lost it by 100, but
yeah, they get picked off.
Christina, you're going to the Olympics, and there was a time last week it didn't look like you were going to the Olympics, and here's the exit of the S's. Look at the runner tips. You know, just check them, leave them straight, hit a couple times, and then down here in the appropriately named Canadian Doodles, I think that was about 8 years ago that someone gave it that from Canada. Look at the back runner up in the air.
Hi, everyone at home. Thanks for supporting us.
Christina Bruton, Cynthia Appia. Race being led by Annika and Lisette Turner as Elfie Willemsen of Belgium comes to line with Shana van Hen. 20th fastest start. There's your leaders. You know, left to right, Turner and Köhler.
Martin, last week we were in a super speedway like Daytona in St. Moritz. The week before, we were in Altenburg, which was like Darlington, a track too tough to tame. This is like a NASCAR track, like at Bristol. This is short, quick, demanding turns, and we've seen everybody in the field have challenges up and down the track, especially on the exit of these 4 S's coming up. 3. It's like a Disneyland ride. If you get it right, it's perfect. If you don't, you suffer the time. And this is as good as it gets. Those 2 hits is the norm. 3 max. 111.9. It's not the best speed, but she has a deficient start time.
She was only 300ths in front of Annika from the first heat. The gap is still at 12. Has she got enough ice left to bring it in? 118.4 is good, but it's not enough.
She's going to fall back 2 places.
Köhler is going to pick off another one, and Elfie Willemsen slips behind Christina De Bruyn as well.
51.30, she went quicker, but not as quick as the Germans. The Germans did not have a good first run. You know, the Annika should not have been in 15th place with the 10th best start on a track that she's very familiar with. But the queen of speed, Elfie, she had a start time. 6th place at the last Olympics in Sochi. She's looking to improve upon that when we go to Korea. But when you have a start deficiency, then it just puts so much emphasis on your driving skill, and you can't be perfect every time you come down the track.
Not on this track, that's for sure.
This is that uphill section. There's a little tap there, but you're going uphill. Gravity sport.
Even if you're a Bavarian, 1 perfect run a year, that's about your lot. Everything else is compromised. Heading towards our top 10, 13th after the first heat, Maria Constantina, Romania, with brakewoman Florentina Iusko.
This young athlete here is a junior world champion triple jumper.
The Romanians, despite all of their efforts, not quite managing to qualify a sled for the Winter Games.
And she's ranked 12th to World Cup points.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. 5:42, inconsistent there, 5:38. You might get better by a couple hundredths, maybe 100th worse, but not 400ths worse. It's a good driver. She'll compete tomorrow in the 4-man, believe it or not. With
a all-female crew.
2, 3. 111.5 speed is, you know, not bad.
Good exit down into Labyrinth. That's pretty clean as well. What she got coming out?
Well, she got beat by 900s at the start, and the start deficiency is showing now.
Not as much as she needs. 2,500s back. She'll slip 3 or 4 spots.
Probably 3 spots.
Yeah.
6th best time of the run. And the Germans are starting to move up into the position they should have been in the first run.
And the sleds in front of them were so closely packed as well. Find a 10th and you vault about 7 or 8 sleds. And that's exactly what's happening now.
So look at this appreciative, knowledgeable sliding sports crowd. In the 2-man event, there were 10 deep all the way up that straightaway earlier in the day. A couple hits here from Maria, but down here in the finish, a little late coming off that curve there. And that's going uphill. I keep bringing that up.
Catching Bile of Austria with Vicky Hahn behind her. Top 12 run in the first heat. And their advantage over Annika and Lisette Turner, just 0.06 of a second. They were 5 spots apart.
35, they went 100th better. Watch the speed, 54.8. That's similar to the Germans' velocity. It's pretty good from the brakeman, who's a national champion weightlifter in the back of the sled. 600's lead in the bank. 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's the lead gone.
Not good. Too much of that curve. No, that's the speed deficiency. Now she's going to come back to red numbers here, I would think. Oh, she's got 800 still.
Wow.
Wow, that's
118.4.
That's pretty good.
73.5 miles an hour.
Down to 4.
400.
110.2. It's going to be close. Germans had better speed.
I think the Germans have it. She ducks at the line, a tie. The first in the field. There you go. So the Germans don't lose, and the Austrians don't lose either. And the gap between them in the first heat, like I said, was 0.06 of a second. And that's no gap at all between them in the second.
They're 0.4 of a kilometer down in that last speed trap to the Germans. And that's when we knew that 400th was going away.
Yeah.
And it went to the 100th. Look at her, just, they're liking it though.
But that means a top 12 guaranteed.
Yeah, both Austrian sleds going to the Olympic Games. She had a pretty rough first run. Now she tell her brakeman, hey, it's okay, come on out of there. Get out of that, come on, raise your head up.
5th in Winterberg, then 13th, 14th, 18th, and now 12th. So that's her second best World Cup run of the season. Didn't do the North American leg. And next, as we head towards the top 10, is Switzerland's second driver, Martina Fonteneva. She's got Irina Strebel behind her. And Martina, I got away with this in the first heat. I now trepidatious about saying it. She did crash twice in training off the Kreisel. Both times she knew exactly where it had gone wrong, and she got a good first run in to be knocking on the door of the top 10.
Strebel's got a track and field background in the field events. They did pretty good. I mean, they're
11th fastest start,
35,
11th at the bottom of the track.
They got better.
Yeah.
Watch the velocity. That's the brakeman's power step into the sled and the driver's ability. 54.3, not very good there.
Track got quicker all the way through the 2-man race, and now it's like 5 in the evening. It's pretty cold out. I think the track's getting faster and faster.
Look at that, throw her away like that.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
4 hits. Let's see what her speed is.
Now she's got to get the exit of the Kreisel right.
Speed. Let's see if she can get out of here.
Third pressure is the one that's the key. That's not bad exit at all. She's down and through.
Yeah, she'll be happy with this no matter what happens. Now she's going to get to the bottom.
Building her lead over Katchenbeil and Annika was 1200.
Yeah, this is a great run for her.
That's enough. She'll finish no worse than 11th.
Boy, they're going to love that. 51.06, 2600's better. Wolfgang Stomp for the coach. And look at, listen. Such trepidation. Crashing twice in practice. Coming out here knowing she's got this monster called the Kreisel or the Turbodrome. And she gets through there. And Martin, I mean, she has some problems here entering this Kreisel, but she shot out of the Kreisel with like a slingshot onto the bottom, and she's the leader. Great result for her.
10 down, 10 to go. It's Martina Fonteneva who leads from Katchenbeil and Annika, tied for second spot. No pause in the run through. Top 10 now, the final 10 sleds of the regular season, and amongst them is Jamaica's Jazmine Fenlator Victorian with world champion 4x100 sprinter Carrie Russell behind her.
And on the left up there screaming, that's Dudley Stokes, the original driver of the Jamaican bobsled team at the '88 Winter Olympic Games. Inspired the movie Cool Runnings. He's still hanging out.
Yeah, and he's still inspiring a new generation of athletes. 5:30 start, a fraction quicker than their first heat.
Good lines.
That's a much better bend away. She was really skiddy in the first run. Heat. Yeah.
112 speed would be excellent. 112.
Gap's down to 8, but it should grow here if she gets a good exit from the Kreisel. And that is a good exit from the Kreisel.
Only 400s though. That's not a good sign. The Swiss sled slingshot on the bottom, 116.5. She's 2 kilometers down, over a mile an hour down on speed.
She's losing her way behind Martina Fontaneva, who moves into the top 10.
And the Swiss move up another one. And this goes to where she had 5th place last week in St. Moritz, Fontaneva. So she's going to finish with 2 top 10 results.
Yeah.
And considering she crashed twice in training, that's pretty good. But I don't know where they lost the speed here. Maybe a little high there. Lost oscillation 0.1, then second. Lines look good. I don't know where she lost it.
Well, she held it very low in the second pressure.
Little
then
late there.
Big hit in the doodles.
Yeah, but she...
All adds up. Sandra Kiriasis helping with the coaching for Jazmine Fenlator, Victorian, and the Jamaican team. And they too will go to the Winter Games in Pyeongchang. 9 to go. We have a Swiss leading, and next up is Christina Hanks of Austria with Valerie Kleiser behind her.
Christina just doesn't get the start time. She lost her brakeman, who didn't get citizenship, Sana Decker, and she was winning World Cup medals on a regular basis early in this Olympic quadrennial.
Oh, a huge
hit there. That's going to cost her, but she's going to have great lines. I hope I don't jinx her. I saw Ingo Appelt in between the break, the 1992 Olympic Games gold medalist for Austria, and he told me that Christina's got so much pressure on her because she doesn't get a good start. He says it's really affecting her ability to have the perfect line.
Yeah.
112.3, best speed we've seen with a very deficient start time.
69.7 miles an hour and a great exit from the Kreisel. 200s up now, that could grow. What's the speed of the bottom? 74.2 miles an hour for De Bruyn.
Whoa, that's pretty good there.
73.9.
700, she's pulling away now. This is what a good driver does. You can get rewarded on the bottom of this track with good lines.
Best speed at the bottom for Christina Hanks of Austria. She takes the lead.
Considering the start time that she gets, if she had any kind of a start, she'd be a favorite, no doubt in my mind. She had the 18th best start in the first run. Here she is up in the top 10 with one of the most perfect lines that we've seen come down this track. Men this morning or women this afternoon. But her nemesis here is the start. You know, you can't have the 18th best start and try to expect to challenge for medals on a short track and then make a mistake like this in curve 1. That just is like throwing on the brakes.
Yeah. So Christina Hanks, a big smile on her face. She takes the lead, guarantees herself a top 9 finish, 8 to go. And with Switzerland lying in second place, this is Switzerland's Sabine Hafner with Evelyn Rebsamen behind her. One of the identical twins that she will take to the games as her brakewomen. And the other one is at the front of the sled, that's Rahel.
This is the firecracker, the electrical engineer pilot.
She was so thrilled with her first run. It was a really nice drive. Came back to the World Cup last year after 5 seasons away.
Yeah, she was in school.
Yeah.
Electrical engineering. She couldn't stay away, though. But she's got the eyes and hands. And Martin, like I said in the first run, you want to talk to somebody about the mechanics and the technical elements of the sport of bobsledding, this girl here can carry on the best conversation of anybody I know. Of course, she's an electrical engineer, but runners, equipment.
112.2, and that is 69.7, equal fastest speed. So the gap grows, it's 900s.
Very similar to Hankster, who just came down. She's a great driver, 118.1. This is going to be close.
This is going to be very close. 700ths of a second in it. And it's going to be the Swiss who just creeps in front.
So 1900's better, so Wolfgang Stampfer, the other twin.
Rahel, yeah.
Happy with her sister.
That's the kind of run that you need before the games. Guarantees herself a top 8 finish.
She can drive.
Former junior world champion in women's bobsledding.
She's won World Cup events in 2006 to 10 quadrennial on her St. Moritz track, but again, she took those 4 years off, and look how buried the brakeman is there. I mean, that's that ride to nowhere in the back.
Last 3 races, 7th in Altenburg, 6th in St. Moritz, and she is currently the leader with 7 to go. So she's on a run of form just when she needs it.
This team here, I say, is the most improved team since the start of the new year. At the start, it's like she turned the lights on.
Nadezhda Sergeyeva and Anastasia Kotsetsova. Kotsetsova, the tallest break woman in the field. She was new to the sport at the beginning of the season. She started in November or October on ice.
Okay, they had the 5th best start of that first run. Let's see what they do here. 27. Look at the size of the brakeman. Get in and get down. Perfect. 5:26. Speed 55.5. Nobody's come near that type of velocity.
Fastest so far for the Russian sled. Sergeyeva, her 2 favorite tracks are Altenburg and Whistler. The 2 most feared on the planet. Ooh, tippy-tappy down here.
She started driving right after the Sochi Games. 112.2 is good speed. But on this track, you could throw it all away, especially in the uphill section here out of Ecovand. 119.2 is excellent. I think its track's getting faster, Mark.
Yep, I agree. And Kotsetsova and Sergeyeva have the lead by 0.2 of a second.
So she goes 0.3 better. Sergey, you got an athlete. Finally, we got a Russian team that's got a good start.
That is the 3rd fastest run of the competition so far. The track is definitely getting quicker.
Look how excited the brakeman is. I said they're the most improved team. I mean, they're not challenging for medals, but they're, instead of 11th and 12th, they're up there in the top 6 and 7, and their starts have really improved. And, you know, peaking in November or peaking in February.
Top 5 starts. There's Nadezhda Sergeyeva, Anastasia Kotsetsova. So your race leaders from Russia, 6 to go. Last year's World Cup champion, Jamie Greupfer, reunited with Asia Evans, and this is likely to be the Olympic pairing.
So the 4th best start, 23 in the first run. I expect these 2 to, unless they're just waiting for the games.
Well, winner in Park City, silver medal in Whistler, silver medal in Altenburg.
Watch the Asia Evans technique here. Boom, down. One of the biggest athletes in the competition on the brakes, and you wouldn't even know she's riding back there.
And you hear the screams at the start as they blast off.
54.8 velocity. Remember the Russians
speed.
at 55.
Yeah. 5:22, fastest start so far.
Ooh, 1 hit, 2 hits.
She had 600s over
3 hits,
Sergeyeva.
4 hits, 5 hits.
And that's
112 speed. Doesn't have that. She's way off.
That's like her first run down the bend away.
Jamie's won on this track before. Now it's a dead heat. She's going to have to be perfect. 119.6 good speed. She might have recovered. 200s, 110.7. That's a little bit better, right to the 100th.
Could be a tie. We've already had 100th behind. Brian Schleimer can't believe it. 100th of a second.
When you don't have 112 speed.
Well, that bend away.
Yeah, she just didn't have it on the exit. So here's the exit of the S's. And, you know, everybody's had problems. Not everybody, but no, what Jamie just did here. There's been a lot of problems here in both the 2 and the women's race. And 5 hits doesn't do it. 111 speed. You need 112 speed to maintain your spot. 100th of a second, though, is painful.
Nadezhda Sergeyeva, the race leader. We now have 5 to go in Bavaria. Top 5, last 5 sleds of the regular season. Königssee, Bavaria. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the last BMW IBSF Women's Bobsled World Cup race of the year.
Well, Mariana, Jamaica, 5:27 start, her and her teammate in the first heat, 5:23, big improvement. Let's see if they get to 55.7. Great velocity around that first curve. And I said this is the better driver of the German pilots. And when they put Jamaica, or put the Drazek on the back, who's on the #1 sled now, she really challenges for podiums.
Lower speed than Sergeyeva out of the Schlangengruber.
That's pretty good speed there, though.
And as they come out of the Kreisel, a decent exit.
Yeah, this is...
she's found a little bit of speed.
She gets us up to 20-25. She could have a chance to medal here. 19, 111.2. Those are all great numbers. 24, 22. So, hey, still a great result for the Russians. They're tied for their best finish of the year, Rennie Spiess and Leo Leopold. They like that finish from this young German pilot who... How's the crowd? If you go to the Montreal Forum, watch hockey, that's like what's coming watching here, watching bobsled or lose your skeleton here in Purchase Garden. Look at the lines. Look at the brakeman in the back. Look how buried she is, and you know, wasn't the quietest of lines, but she accelerated all the way down the track, Martin.
Mariam Yamanka clearly happy after that ride. She's the leader with 4 to go. Next up is Canada's Alicia Rissling with double Olympic winning brakewoman Heather Moyse. She won both her gold medals pushing for Kaillie Humphries, and now her mission, she said last year, was to try and take another driver to the games, and she has done that with Alicia Rissling.
Some athlete in the back seat. So they had a 28 start, and the top teams are getting a couple hundredths better or 100th better at least.
Look at the slow motion with which Heather Moyse gets in the sled.
55 velocity, 54.8, not the velocity of the German or Russian sleds. Rissling has been coming on. She finished 3rd in Pyeongchang, Korea at the pre-Olympic test last year, which surprised a lot of people. So 500's deficiency, 112.5 speed to give her a chance. 112.3. Perfect line. She's still got an opportunity for finding that Bavarian line down here. Only 200 separates her and Jamaica. 118.8. It's excellent.
But 1100's back is out to 17.
Boy,
Yamanka's going to move up. She'll be in front of Sergeva, the Russian.
4th best time of the run. So 2nd best time. Graham Richardson there on the right. Not bad, top 5 for Rissling. I think that's one of her better runs of the year, isn't it?
Can't tell, can't see my results.
7.77, yes. 4th last week at St. Moritz.
Yep.
No worse than 5th here. So Alicia Rissling has positioned herself well going into the games. With Heather Moyse. Last year, Heather Moyse was inducted into the Rugby Hall of Fame. What type of athlete is that?
Well, last year she was a civilian and had no intention of coming back to the ice. And so she's really come from a standing start. So Alicia Rissling, Heather Moyse. Top 5.
Let me just say World Rugby Hall of Fame, not the Canadian Hall of Fame, the World Rugby Hall of Fame.
3 to go, and this is now the battle for the Crystal Globe, for the World Cup champion, Kaillie Humphries versus Alana Myers-Taylor. And our double Olympic champion with Felicia George behind her, a double summer Olympian for Canada.
5:19 first run, they'll probably go better. This is for the World Cup title. 5:18, so they did go better by 100th, and they have 54.9 velocity out of the first curve. 20 lead, that'll accelerate out to 25 or 30. And watch, if there's anybody can get out of these S's clean, it's the double Olympic champion, Kaillie Humphries. And those pictures, look at this, 2, 3, that's how to do it. 112.2 though, not the speed of the German sled. 14, it's come down. Now this is for a World Cup title. She finishes in this place, she wins the World Cup title. 118, down to 14. She's gonna win the World Cup title here. First best time of the run, 1800's better, and there's another World Cup title, another trophy for Kaillie Humphries, and a bronze medal at least.
So Kaillie Humphries, fastest run of the competition so far, quicker than anybody in front of her managed in the first heat. And she is our new World Cup champion.
Look at the lines. Last year was Jamie Grubel-Poser from the United States. This year it's Kaillie Humphries, and if there's anybody that came down the track with quiet steering lines, this double Olympic champion just shows why she is who she is. She can drive, and I call this the most meticulous driving track on the planet.
Not quite doing the full Stephen Holcomb high five down the line. Alana Myers-Taylor, second in the first heat, and she has 7/100ths of a second, 8/100ths of a second in hand over Kaillie Humphries.
Okay, they went 16 in the first run. I would believe Alana's worked herself into getting better than that. Start record. 12 was the start record. I said it in the first run. I'm surprised they had a 16. So Alana, who seems like she's got the ability to turn the water on and off at her desires, she is some athlete, but needs to find a better line than that. 11/100ths, that's going to be tough to maintain 112 speed with that.
Reminiscent of her first run down the bend away.
This isn't good. That speed, she lost all her speed. Down to 3. Now she needs the Bavarian fast line. 118.8, that's pretty quick. She's in red numbers now, though. 200ths, 110.6, right to the 100th, but I think Humphries going to get her. She does. 50.84.
Well, new start record for Alana Myers-Taylor and Lauren Gibbs, 100th quicker than the start record from last year, set by Alana Myers-Taylor and Kerry Jones.
And Alana won the World Championships here last year in 4 heats.
Yep.
But, you know, you got to drive this track. Can't just win it at the start. And Korea, start is a big advantage, and you got to drive it there, but not as meticulous as this track here in Königssee. The start is unbelievable. But the exit here of the S's, well, Kaillie just came down right down the middle. Alana had some skidding.
So Alana Myers-Taylor will end the season with 1 win under her belt and a slew of podiums. With 2 wins already this season and a couple of bronze medals. What about Stephanie Schneider with Annika Drazek, Germany's best brakewoman?
They just saw the start record go. They could match it or break it. 5:10 maybe. 11, they matched it. Boy, Schneider, the former world championship brakeman, now in the front seat. They've only got 3 years of really driving. Last year was an off year because she had so many crashes with a broken collarbone, a Whistler. 2,500ths lead is huge, Martin, but we just saw Myers have issues.
She had 1,300ths over Kaillie Humphries from the first heat. She's doubled it already. The speed is there.
She's won twice already in this tour. Whoa! She almost ended the run right there.
She's scratched out of 1 World Cup this season. She doesn't want to do it again on a German track.
Going away.
Great run and a big result. Stephanie Schneider.
Wow, 50-57, 1,900ths better. I think Alana Myers and Kaillie Humphries were head-to-head at the Olympic Games last year, or 4 years ago. I think that there's a new person joining the party.
Annika Drazek on the back of yet another winning German sled.
And Kaillie Humphries is looking at, wow, I got 2 of them. 600-700ths better than me at the start. Kaillie's the best driver, but these 2 are going to have the best starts. Great job by Myers-Taylor and Gibbs. Just as good for Schneider and Drazek at the start. And Kaillie Humphries walks away with their World Cup title. But Martin, I think the 3 we see right here are the 3 who are going to medal at the Olympic Games. Start, well, when you have the best start at the top of the track, you have the best chance for the best times at the bottom. Schneider had the best times in both runs at the start, tied by Myers-Taylor, but I think it's safe to say she's improving as a driver, Martin, even though this was close.
She got away with it, and she ends up with her 3rd race win. She's claimed as many as anybody else. And this is only her 3rd season of driving. So Stephanie Schneider wins it from Kaillie Humphries and Alana Myers-Taylor. Mariama Yamanka just out in 4th ahead of Alicia Rissling and Anastasia Sergeva and Nadezhda Sergeva. So there is the finishing order for the final Women's Bobsleigh World Cup race of the regular season. Next, the Olympic Games await. It's pitch black here in Königssee, Bavaria, but under the bright spotlight, the winners, Stephanie Schneider and Annika Drazek. Drazek with 3 bronze medals in the last 5 races here. This is her first win on this track. And Kaillie Humphries with her new brakewoman, Felicia George. Felicia George is now loading into the sled like a real veteran, which is astonishing considering she'd never pushed on ice before the beginning of the year. And she has got great speed and looks like a major bonus added to the Canadian team. Lana Myers-Taylor and Lauren Gibbs expect to see them competing together in Pyeongchang as well in 3 weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot of Olympic lineups here. I think we saw in the field today, Martin. Ivo Ferriani, Thomas Schwab on the right, or Ferriani on the left. There's Thomas Schwab, the director of German bobsled, luge, and skeleton.
Yeah. On the right-hand side, and waiting to present the trophies. So the flower ceremonies for the top 3, and then we will present the trophies for the 2-man World Cup and the Women's World Cup. Justin Cripps of Canada, the top 2-man driver of the season, winning the Crystal Globe with a top 3 finish here earlier today. And Kaillie Humphries, his compatriot, also claiming the Crystal Globe. Felicia George alongside her. 2 summer games in London and Rio, and she is going to her first winter games in Pyeongchang.
Night has fallen here in Königssee. It's a beautiful place.
And a great racetrack always provides fascinating action. The World Cup champion for 2017-18, Canada's Kaillie Humphries. Alana Myers-Taylor in the silver medal position over the end of the season, and Germany's Mariama Yamanka in 3rd spot. Jamie Greubel-Poser, last year's World Cup champion, will end the season in the top 4. And there are the rest of the positions. Not all, even of those top 18 you see, will be going to the Winter Games in a women's field of just 20 sleds. Victory in Königssee falling to Stephanie Schneider and Annika Drazek. The German driver winning for the 3rd time this season, matching the number of wins of Kaillie Humphries, our World Cup champion. And the other race winners a week ago in St. Moritz, Alana Myers-Taylor, and early in the season in Park City, Jamie Greubel-Poser. And barring a crash and a little bit of more experience, Stephanie Schneider could well have been right up at the very top of the pile, and there's no doubt that she will have that ability in the years to come. And the flowers being handed out by Vice President of the IBSF and German sliding, Andreas Trautvetter. And there are your runners-up. And 3rd place goes to Alana Myers-Taylor on the left, Lauren Gibbs on the right of the USA. So your winners in the centre, Stephanie Schneider in the black beanie and Annika Drazek. And quite how the German lineups work, we will wait to see in Pyeongchang. And they have got a great opportunity. German bobsledding failed to score a medal last time out in Sochi. I think that is not going to happen this time. Well, that's it for the Women's World Cup season. Don't forget, 4-man bobsleigh Sunday afternoon in Königssee. Join John Morgan, the IBSF TV crew, and me, Martin Haven. Till then, thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.